Alrighty, so we'll start with the integration here.
Okay.
So I'll have Jason, you'll go forward, and then we'll sneak up behind you. What we're gonna do here is, let me have you actually, so here, how you have your leash, if we can, I'm gonna have you take this handle, cross it over to your right, loop it over your thumb there, over your thumb,
Just like
like that,
that.
and now close your hand around it, and the other side as well. There you go, so that locks your leash. So this way, she can't get out. Okay, so this is the trainer hold. This locks your leash. So even if Ivy were to lunge, it's not gonna flip out, right? If you wrap it around your fingers, most likely not with her size, but if she were to lunge, I've had people break their fingers because the leash was wrapped around it and the dog pulled really hard, and then yeah. And then I'm gonna have you go to relax. And then, keep your left hand on the leash. And you're gonna keep this in your hand and then relax. And I'm gonna have you take a little bit more slack here. There we go. Just so as we move Finn closer, I'm gonna have you keep Ivy's attention more so to you. So as we bring Finn over, if she starts to go to Finn, I'm gonna have you correct her with a pop going opposite. Okay, so she's gonna wanna go left. Yeah, she's gonna wanna go left, so you would go correction to the direct right to redirect her this way. Okay? So we're trying to create two dogs walking side by side without any interest from Ivy to Finn. Does that make sense? Okay. And I'll coach you through the rest. But that's the basic would be just keep her from going to Finn, which is trying to get them used to walking to each other, next to each other, and we're gonna try to close that gap as much as we can. Okay? And which will probably be like a foot, maybe foot and a half.
Okay.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Let's go, Ivy. Yes.
Everyone thinks he's a boy. Yeah.
All righty. So we're going to bring over Finn here. We'll just kind of sneak up. Let me have you shorten just a wee bit on here. Yeah. There we go.
Dog on the left.
Huh?
I like the shirt, Jesse.
Thank you.
Yes. Leave it. Yes. Good girl. Leave it. Yes.
Is there a reason Finn keeps looking at and kind of like bumping knees?
Yeah, because we're...
Muzzle. And avoidance too.
Yeah, gotcha. Muzzle, and then because we're putting him next to Ivy here, so he's dog reactive. So this is a bit of avoidance, and he's really struggling, as you can see here.
To try and avoid the other dog?
Yeah, and then because when he goes under stress, that muzzle, he wants to take it off, so he's trying to rub it on her leg to try to remove it. He's going to start hugging to the right a little bit.
Yes.
Hug a little more. So his hackers, I don't see any hackers here, but so that's pretty good.
He's trying to get a little out.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Leave it. Yes.
Okay, closing on the right a little bit. Good.
Yes. Leave it.
Yeah, really good. There's a little positive tension there.
Yes.
So you see how he kind of glanced over her very quickly and like subtly, so you're not worried about protecting those. His ears are still back. Okay? So if we would look at her, his ears would go up. I might tap that. Okay? Because when he's looking at her, it's stimulating the brain.
Yeah.
And you want him to be able to look at her but stay in a passive state. So all this is good here. And he's just getting used to, oh, there's this new dog that I've seen a couple of times, but now this is the closest we've been, and he's just kind of checking her out like, what are you about? And then this is why the walk is so, for me, important. It's just the coexistence of, we can be side by side, and I don't have to worry about you getting in my business or trying to sniff me or whatever. And again, using an activity to build a relationship or a friendship between the two of them. Unless I do like smaller dogs. So now I'm going to have you do is going to slow down with Finn, keep moving with Ivy, and we're going to sneak up with Finn to see if he'll sniff Ivy's hindquarters. And then Jason, I'm going to have you just keep moving forward, okay?
Okay.
So even if Ivy starts to like turn around, just redirect her with your leash forward. Branch. and keep moving.
Okay.
Okay? And slowly sneak up here. Go and slow down a wee bit, please. There you go. Oh, she's seeing, what's she seeing here? Oh, squirrel. We're gonna move up with Finn, and you're gonna try to bring Finn to her rear here, okay? To see if she's. Alright, keep going, yep. Slow a little bit more, Jason. So keep it forward, that's good. And you might even have to like stretch out a little bit to see if the leash tension will bring him towards your rear. Slow a wee bit more, Jason. There you go, good. A little bit more forward tension. Oh, there we go, right there. That was a tiny little sniff.
That's there somewhere.
Let's try that one more time. It's like, Mom, this is impolite. Alright. Little bit of curiosity there. Okay, go and relax. So you can see like he either doesn't know what to do or is still not sure. Right? Because as you're moving him closer to her, he kept moving the head around a lot. Right? Kind of getting anxious or nervous on what to do. But I didn't see him get stimulated in a negative way, like reactivity wise. So we're gonna try this. We're gonna switch roles. We're gonna throw Finn in front. And we're gonna see if we can get Ivy to sniff Finn. Okay? Now when Ivy goes to sniff, just like from what you've seen in the past, is she like a get up in your business kind of sniffer?
She's a delicate. I want to just take a quick sniff, and I'm really not that interested in this anyway.
Okay. So that actually might work for us, to our benefit. So go ahead, and I'm gonna have you slow down a little bit with Finn. And then you're gonna bring up Ivy as we're walking. And remember, if we see something straight up, Liz, okay?
Okay.
Yep, and you're gonna guide Ivy to his rear.
Ivy, say hi. Not even really that interested. Ivy, take a sniff. Nope.
Hey, Bree, would you help us with this?
She did just step on his foot with paw, and
Nice,
he didn't say anything. Yes, good.
So I'll have you do that. So you see how he gets unsure here? Okay.
Funny if
Yep.
you get her both.
Yep. You see how he gets really unsure with her. Squirrel. So now he's body blocked. He's between me and Ivy. So there's no escape. Good. You can see he wants to go back to Mama though. Good.
That highway freaks out too.
He might be too concerned with us right now that maybe the highway doesn't matter. Because now he's overwhelmed. Because he can't escape to the right, and he technically can't go to the left. There we go. Yeah. He's licking his left slot. That's good. There we go. So, you may have thought about something there. So it looked like just a quick sniff. So the reason for 2 hands for each dog, or 1 hand for each dog, is in case I need to separate, I can. And then ultimately it would be both dogs in 1 hand walking side by side, no threat, no tension. But this is good here. I'm gonna slow down a bit. We'll stop right here for a little rest break. Was that Ivy? That was this guy.
It sounded like Ivy, but I don't think it was.
So you can see how unsure he gets. There we go. See something here. See that tension? Got those twitches? That's how unsettled he is right now. You see the mouth closed? So he's not relaxed. This isn't tension in the sense of I want to be aggressive. This is tension as in holy shit, I'm right next to a dog and I don't want to do that. See the ears are back, right? So he's overwhelmed. So like we would call this flooding. Flooding is good when you know how to do it correctly. Okay, flooding, there has to be an outcome and not just like, okay, stick the dog in the room with like a bunch of other dogs, you know, with no hard to say clear intention. But that's why I warm up to this. With the walk and everything, ease up a bit. Ivy's kind of like, this guy's too awkward.
What's the licking of the lips symbolize?
This stresses, there we go. It's good. The licking of the lips is what just happened stressed me out. This is venting stress or relaxation. So I like this here because now he's thinking I can be in a relaxed venting state with Ivy right next to me. I don't have to be like this. So that's the purpose of being next to her, is that the brain you can only stay angry for so long, right? Have you ever gotten really mad, but throughout the day it just goes away, right? You can't stay stuck. You get mentally tired. Same thing for the dog. So if I put them in this, I get dogs maybe for the first time, they could be there. They can be there and they'll be tense, right, the first hour or whatever, but at some point, again, they have to let it go, right? So right there, when he tried to go to me, that was his brain getting overwhelmed and saying, I need an outlet. So technically, I would tap to bring him back, but it was too quick that I just corrected it myself and placed him back. So I'm telling him, you don't decide when you leave Ivy, I will. So then the brain has to let that go. And he's like, well, if it's not under my control, what's the point of even worrying about it, right? But the approach that I did here isn't the most effective. That's where remote kicks in. So like if I have a dog that's scared of people, I'll remote them to come to me. So the dog thinks they're making that choice, right? Because that had nothing to do with it other than the fact pressing the button. After 5-10 minutes, the dog goes, I've had enough of you, Jesse, I'm gone. But now I can kick in with the remote again and say, nope, come back over here. But it's again not related to me. The dog just thinks every time I run away from you, something negative happens. But when I'm with you, nothing happens. So I can manipulate trust with fear aggressive dogs using that approach. Difficult to do with a dog and another dog, right? And you see how awkward Ivy looks, right? So it's either one, me, because I've corrected her in the past, or two, she senses his energy, right? And she's like, that guy's in unstable energy. I don't, it's like someone acting out at the store. Some people, it gets their attention. Other people are like, what's going on here, right? So we clearly know which one Ivy is. So if you want to better understand dogs' behavior, in my opinion, you just have to understand human behavior. We do the same stuff. They get anxious, we get anxious. They get nervous, we get nervous. They get scared, we get scared. They become aggressive, we can become aggressive, right? It's the same stuff.
But can you fake any of those emotions? Can you fool a dog or manipulate the dog into thinking you're thinking one emotion versus another? If you don't truly feel,
Are you talking about like the fake it till you make it type of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You know, it's funny because I recently saw something. Oh, it was Will Smith, and he said, if you don't want to do something because of fear, then do it scared. Right? And I was like, that's because the most popular saying is fake it till you make it, but you can't fake the dog. Because when you have an emotional response, you're releasing chemicals and stuff. In my theory, dogs can pick up on all those things, right? So when they say dogs can smell fear, right? And when I first started my career and I was working with human aggressive dogs and I had very to no experience, but I had to learn, I faked it till I made it, but I was scared. But I needed to learn. So then when I saw Will Smith's video, he's like, if you're scared to do something, then do it scared or whatever. I was like, that's right. But it's more so the energy of like, I don't like this, but I'm gonna do it. Does that make sense? So here, for the dogs, it's not so much the same thing for them. Dogs are very much on or off. So if I make something happen, like this here is inorganic. This is a forced situation. But I can plant the seed for Finn here that he's capable of doing this. And then the ultimate goal would be we go into an organic situation. And what that would look like is I wouldn't be here like this. He would be looser and them just doing their own thing. But if something happens, he just thinks, oh, I've done this before. And then he relaxes and lets it go. And I just keep progressing, okay? But I'm not worried about the playfulness or the interaction. I'm just worried about getting him to coexist and being in a relaxed state with that nice panting mouth. Ear is back. His sitting posture is not so awkward anymore. Earlier was really like this, right? Now he's a little bit more upright. Ivy.
My parents' dog looks like that all the time too when
Sure.
he's next to Elsa. So is that just him being like
Awkward.
awkward with like her energy or
Yeah,
something?
see what's going on. Read her, then read him. Did something happen prior? Right?
Nothing has happened with them. I think he just, I don't know. But it's the same exact look.
Same look? Then I'd try him if it's possible, like another dog.
Okay.
You know, to see what's
To
his
see if
energy
he has
like.
that,
Yeah. Because that's what tells you, right?
Right.
But that's usually what I look at is what's the context and what happened and does the dog have issues and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, this is good.
And then you can't make every dog like every other dog. Right?
No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, humans don't like every person. they
Sure.
meet,
Yeah.
Right? So you
Yeah.
see it.
With her, it's more like the staring. So like what you had said before, when we just don't let her stare.
Correct. We just don't allow.
Yeah.
There we go. Just changing the energy a bit. We just don't allow her to possess things. See how he takes a step away? There you go. Lick the lips. Good. You see that big twitch from her tail?
Yeah.
So he just barely nudged him. And he was like, oh my God, what was that? There you go. Now he's starting to get a little shaky. See how the mouth's closed now? Right? So now he's not relaxed because this is new to him. Before she was behind him, but now she's next to him. See how he's turning his head? That's avoidance state. He's going, oh man, this is getting really, really hard for me. So I'm gonna look over here. Now the panting. There you go. Yeah, the boy. Good. Beautiful. Here we go. I'll give you Ivy. Let him.
Is it
Ivy. There we go. That was really good.
That was great.
Okay. Finish up your walk. Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff there. We'll put them at the end. There we go. Yeah. So, you saw how I think I said this when we got to go on the call, having them side by side, but you know, one person holding both dogs. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Straight. Yeah. So.
It's like you're asking about.
One in each hand, you know, you've got has the remote to correct. Okay, you saw how it's spaced out, right? And then slowly just kind of bringing them in together. And you might see something, right? Because it's going to be your Gus, and you empower Finn. You give them something to protect, right? His family, whatever. So don't be discouraged. If you see that, you would correct it. Do a quick separation, but keep moving, and then ease back into it again. Just keep doing that process, right? Because you're telling them this is not going to happen
That's what, yeah.
in terms of his behavior. Then step off to the side if you're comfortable. And you don't even have to worry about doing what I did. Okay? You can just step to the side and they're sitting next to each other. You know, closer than 6 feet or whatever. And then if you feel good about it, you saw how I dipped down, I shortened my leash for both dogs, and I closed the gap with them. So it's more immediate if I need to separate. Because I'm able to stay there with 2 slack leashes and put them together and going down. Now I got to be like this, right? It's going to take a lot more. So I went down to the level, shortened my leashes very short, kept it slack, watch for the sign of closed mouth to relaxation and the panting and going, okay, like I was in a relaxed state next to a dog behind me, no big deal. And you saw me force to touch with her paw, and then I moved her and then her tail wagged and he's like, oh my God, what was that? Right? Because the nerves are up because he's like, I'm right next to another dog, but then nothing happens. And then you saw how he was uncomfortable with the new situation was now dogs in front of me. He was looking to the side. Then he eventually relaxed, started looking at you, and then he went to a panting, relaxed state. And then that's the last thing we leave with. So the last thing he remembers with Ivy is we hung out for a bit, it wasn't negative, and I was relaxed. Okay? If you end it with tension and separation and fighting and lunging, the last thing he remembers is when I saw you last, it was come at me, bro. Okay? So good. They're very good.
That looks so awkward.
Yes. And that's why, you know, I don't put a time with things because it's just the same way with people, you know, working through their own issues. Everybody's timeline is going to be different. Some people, I watched the video of this guy quit smoking like cold turkey after smoking for like 20-something years, you know, and other people need like the patch and the gum and everything. So there's no right and wrong. It's just, you know, just putting in the time and effort. Obviously, the more often you do it, ideally the faster the turnaround is going to be. You got off you start to the left, and cut off to the right here.